Hello my sweets, it's Keisha. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, thank you for joining me, and I hope you consider subscribing. I'm excited to share that today is the 2020 DIY Christmas in July Open Invite Collaboration, co-hosted by Carrie from Mama Dares to DIY and I, Keisha from Sweet Urban Rose. So when you're done watching my video, check out the link to the playlist linked in the description box below to get more fantastic ideas for Christmas. I decided to go the pre-Christmas route by making this super cute gingerbread house Christmas countdown and Santa can. Perfect for the littles or even the littles at heart in your life. If you'd like to see how I made them, just keep watching. What I have here is a Perpetual calendar from Dollar Tree. But what I want to do is turn it into a Christmas countdown. So the first thing I'm going to do is take this portion out. And really all I want for now is this box portion. So I'm going to see if I can't just pull this off. If not, we may have to use other tools. But it seems to be coming up pretty easy here. Okay, so we have this portion off, and I may go back and use this part. I'm not completely sure yet. But that's what we have so far. Like that's going to come off. Okay, so we have that part here. Now, the way that I want these numbers to be is in the up position, like this, so they're raised up, but I don't need these here. So I'm going to move these to the side and just keep one out for now. And I have a piece of the Tumbling Tower game here to replace those other two. And then I'm going to add one more piece, which is going to be this craft stick, to the inside here to make this just flush all the way across. So what I'm gonna do is cut this craft stick down so that it fits flush against the insides here. Okay, so let's make sure that it fits. Okay. All right. So we have a nice snug fit here. You can see it's not coming out, which is perfectly fine. And so next what I'm going to do is give it a little bit of a sand and get it ready for the next step. Okay, so I've gotten the sides of the craft stick sanded down a little bit. So the next thing I want to do is glue all of these together. And to do that, I'm going to be using a combination of this Gorilla, the light here, the Gorilla wood glue and hot glue. Okay, so we're gonna have something that looks like this so far, and that's gonna fit down and this just like that, so it ends up being flush across the front here. Okay, now the next thing I want to do is work on the stand. So I'm just going to move this off to the side here so the glue can kind of set up. And to work on the stand, what I'm going to be using is these Tumbling tower blocks. These actually came from Dollar General. For this box here, I want to say it was about $4.50, but as you can see, the blocks that come in here are pretty sizable compared to the Dollar Tree ones. Now, I have not been able to find these Dollar Tree ones. This is like a couple of little pieces that I have left over. I think I have 2 left now, so I would have used the Dollar Tree ones. Unfortunately, I can't find them, so I'm going to go with the Tumbling tower blocks. And I'm gonna build a base with these by just taking 2 like this and 2 and do them in this sort of configuration here. So I'm gonna start by using some wood glue, using some wood glue and some hot glue to get these together also. Okay, so this is what we have here. This is going to end up being the front of the base. So what I'm going to do next is come in and take this Waverly chalk paint in white, and I'm going to start painting all of these pieces. But before I do that, actually, I think what I want to do is take some spackling. So I'm going to take some spackling just to kind of smooth out this middle area here, because I do want the writing to be across here, and I want it to have a smooth look. So I'm going to spackle this and then get all of these painted with the chalk paint, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I have these fairy garden figurines that I picked up earlier, I want to say like in January or February of this year, and I knew I was going to save them for Christmas because we do a Candyland gingerbread theme. So I picked up 2 packs of these along with some of the other fairy garden houses that they had, but I wanted to use some of these as embellishments. So what I've done is I've painted over the paint job because they're really cute. It's just that the paint job isn't that great on them. So what I did was I painted over them with the Waverly white chalk paint to act as a primer to help the acrylic paint stick better. And I'm going to repaint them and hopefully end up with a better paint job than what's there. So I'm gonna start with this purple. So I'm basically putting the same colors back on because I do like this color scheme that it has. It's just, again, the paint job wasn't that great. So I'm gonna just put a little bit of paint here on my little mat here that I used to paint on, and let's get a bigger brush, and I'm going to start with this lollipop here, and I'm just going to repaint them back in and go from there. Okay, so I went ahead and had painted this block white, and then I changed my mind and wanted to have the front of it to be red. So I did paint that off camera. The next thing is on this piece here. I wanted to make it look like it had a candy cane stripe. So what I'm going to do is take this craft stick here, and I'm going to create the stripes by just laying it at a diagonal on here and creating the stripes that way. So I'm going to do that. And then what I'm going to do is go ahead and paint the stripes red. So that's ready, so I'm going to go ahead and let that dry. The other thing that I did while I was off camera was I went ahead and cut this into pieces so that it would fit to the back of this guy here. So I wanted to save the llama just in case I had a llama craft that I wanted to do, but I just took my box cutter blade and I just scored it and scored it and scored it until I could bend it and snap it off. I did get a little bit of chipping here on this part, but it's not too bad. You just want to be patient and take your time with it. So what I'm gonna do is attach these two pieces together, and I'm gonna do that with my wood glue and with my hot glue gun. So what I'm gonna do is set this down with a little bit of weight on top of it to make sure that that wood glue bonds to the sides here. So on the front of the base here, I want to have days until Christmas. And this is going to be hard to see right now because it is white on white and clear, which is part of the reason why I changed this to red, was because the red that I had, because I was originally going to do it in red vinyl, but the red that I had didn't match this red on the rest of the piece. So I went ahead and just painted this red, and then I'm going to do white writing. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and apply this to the front of this piece here. And I went into Design Space and I just searched days until Christmas, and I kept scrolling until I found a font that I liked. And other options, if you don't have a Cricut to do this, is you can do stencils, you can do stickers. Dollar Tree has a lot of great stickers right now. Another option is to do a printout and do the carbon pencil transfer that I've done a couple times on my channel, or even the chalk transfer. So those are some different options for you. You can also take sorry, I should not try to talk and do things at the same time. You can also just take a printout and decoupage it on here. So what I'm going to do here is add the days and then add the Christmas on the end, and then put the until in between. Alright, and that's what we have so far. So, because I want this to have kind of a glossy finish, I am going to go over this with the glossy Mod Podge. So I'm going to do that, and then we'll bring back in the other pieces and see if we can't get this thing together. Alright, so I'm ready to put this together, and I just wanted to talk about a couple of things before we got started doing that. This ornament here I picked up from Michael's last year on clearance, and I did paint it. The only thing that I did for this project was actually add the Mod Podge. This was already previously painted. But it was $2. I honestly can't remember how much I paid for it on clearance, but it was something very inexpensive, and I really hope that they bring this back this year, because I'd like to get some more of them. So anyway, I painted it, and so this is what it looks like, and I put the gloss Mod Podge that you can get from Dollar Tree over it. That's the only thing that I did with this for this project. I had painted this previously. Okay, the next thing is I saw that someone had hauled these Perpetual calendars, and they already have one that has a house on it. Unfortunately, I didn't get that because they only had the llama, and they just had the one at the store that I went to, so I grabbed it because that's what they had. Okay, so now we're gonna get going on putting this together, but the first thing that I want to do is to actually, these are felt pads that I picked up at Dollar Tree a while ago, and I'm going to cut a piece of it here just to put on the bottom of here, so that, actually that's kind of thick, so never mind. I'll probably just cut a piece of felt just to protect my shelf from getting scratched up with this, but you can most certainly use that as an option, but it's kind of thick. I didn't realize how thick it was. Anyway, so the first thing I'm going to do, as you can see here, I left this part open and this bottom undone, so this could have a better bond. So I'm going to attach these together so they're like this, and I'm going to be using the wood glue and hot glue combination. So we'll get started with that. And actually, let me just find the center of this so it is on the center of this one here. So let's see here. Okay, so a little tick mark there to help me find the center. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and put this portion in, and I did go ahead and put a layer of the gloss Mod Podge on this as well. So alright, so that's what we have so far. The next thing I'm going to do is I have this, what are they called? They are called giant craft sticks from Walmart, and I'm going to use this to help support on the back here for the house to stand up. So I'm going to put it right about here. so it doesn't show through any of the cutouts. And then I'm just going to lay this on top and place a mark as to where to cut it off at. Scissors. Okay. Now you don't have to use this stick, I just like the width of it. You can use any kind of craft stick. You just want to, if you happen to have these ornaments, or you wait and see if they come out in Michael's. You just don't want to cover up the laser cuts here. So I'm going to put a little glue here. Let's get a little hot glue too. Just want to make sure that that stick isn't hanging off the bottom there. And I'm going to take some glue. Okay, so that's what we have so far. These glue strings are going to drive me crazy. Okay, so these are the fairy garden pieces that I repainted. I did go ahead and put a layer of the gloss Mod Podge on these as well. And my idea was to have them just kind of here on the side. So I'm going to attach those. I'm going to have to stand this up in order to do that. So that's what we have, which I think is super cute. I love it. And then when I was going over these numbers here, it looks like the highest that you can go to is 65, because the highest number on this block, I think it's supposed to be a 6 and a 9, but the highest number on this block is 5. So the highest you can really go to is 65 on this, which doesn't bother me. I probably won't end up putting this out until the day after Thanksgiving is typically when I start decorating for Christmas. So the next step is, if you want to do some embellishments, more embellishments, I have this mixture of Epsom salts and buffalo snow. Unfortunately, I couldn't find I thought I had an extra buffalo snow, but I guess I don't know where it is right now. But you can sprinkle. Epsom salt is readily available now, so that's something that you can use right now if you wanted to recreate this or something like it. You could put some around on there. I also have iridescent glitter. This one I picked up at Walmart. I honestly don't remember how much this was. I also have these little gumdrops that can be added as well as another embellishment. These were another clearance, so I didn't pay the $2.99 that's on the tag. But I thought these were really cute. I have some gumdrops as well that I might think about putting on there, but let's open this. I want to cut that. So we're just going to pull a couple off here. Sure we have some of every color. And I'm just going to place them around on here. Alright, so that's what we have. Can you see that? Alright, so I think the last thing I'm going to do is add a little bit of this snow. So this is, I can see already this is going to have to be done in layers to get all of this to stick. So I'm just going to keep going, and then once it dries, do what we need to do to get the layers done. Oops. Alright, so that's what we have so far. And I'm just going to finish covering this area, and I think I'm going to put some up here as well. Stay tuned to see how this is going to look. Okay, so for this next project, I'm going to be making a Santa cam. I wanted to do this last year, but I couldn't find the lenses, and I just kind of gave up on it. And then earlier this year, probably like January or February, I found these lenses at the Dollar Tree, and they look like this. It clips onto your phone and turns your phone into a wide-angled phone, and it comes with a cap. So I get to do the Santa cam. So I'm going to set this off to the side for now. So you're going to need an ornament to begin, some glitter. This is polycrylic, and that's kind of small. I'll put a picture on the screen so that you can see what it looks like. I was able to pick this up at Hobby Lobby. It's an 8-ounce can, and at the time I purchased this was last year, in December, it was $9.99. I don't know what it is now, but that's it. So you're also gonna need a dropper, And if you don't have these, I imagine not everyone just has these on hand, but you can get one at the pharmacy, or if you have like a craft funnel that you don't use, you can most certainly use that to get it down in there, or like a plastic cup, paper cup that you can bend to get this fluid down in there. So what I'm going to do is draw up some of this polycrylic. Let's see. And I'm just going to pull up about a little over 3/4, less than a teaspoon of this. And I'm just going to squirt it in there. You want to be sure that you stir this and not shake the can to eliminate bubbles. And you want to have a cup also. So you're going to just take this and just kind of roll it around to coat the inside. You just want to do like I'm doing here, just slowly roll it around. I'm holding it over the can because I'm getting closer to the top. Some of the liquid pour back out into the can. I've also heard of people using hairspray for this step, or I think it's like some kind of floor wax, liquid floor wax that you do on there. I don't know how that stands up, how that would stand up to time or like temperature changes for that matter. In all honesty, I don't know how this one's even going to hold up with this stuff, but I would think that this would be a little bit stronger than those other solutions that people have used to create these ornaments. I'd be interested in seeing if anybody's ever done them with those other items, the hairspray or the floor wax, to see what they look like a year later. Anyway, you just want to let most of that drip back out into your can to eliminate the waste. And then you just want to set it in your cup so that it continues to drain out. I'm just going to loosely put the cap here. Next, what you want to do is start preparing. I made a paper funnel here. I tested it out on another ornament, so I'll tell you a little bit about that when it gets closer. But I just took a piece of scratch printer paper, had a misprint, and I just cut one of the corners off and into a round, and then just formed a cone and cut off the bottom there. And that's to pour you want to use extra fine glitter for this project here. Okay, so I'm just going to let this drip for a little bit longer, and once it stops dripping, I will be back. All right, so this is pretty much stopped dripping. You can see that there is some puddling here on the sides, so you just want to be careful of that. One way, when I was researching how to do this, to make sure that it doesn't create drip lines, once you pour the glitter is to dry it upside down in the cup. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and open up this glitter and take my funnel here and just pour some down in there. And you're just gonna put enough to what you think will coat it. You can always add more. And then you just wanna start turning it around to let the glitter coat the inside. Also, if you have just an extra square of napkin, you can put it over the top so you can give this a good shake. Now, when I was saying you just want to make sure that you pour enough to coat, I do have a little bit extra in here, and I've seen other people just kind of pour it back into their container. I personally am not really comfortable with that. I'm not sure why I'm not, but I'm just not. So I'm just gonna pour it back into this, and there's a bit in there, but again, I'm just not comfortable reusing it. So you're just gonna pour out the excess and then set it back down in your cup so it's upright, and set it off to the side. Now, the directions on the can say, I guess if you're doing layers, you wait 2 hours in between the sanding layers and then 24 hours for it to completely cure. Now, here's what I was talking about with all that glitter that's down in there. With this one, I waited 2 hours and then I thought, I wonder if I could do another layer in there and it would be more sparkly. Well, I don't know if I needed to wait longer for it to like completely cure, but when I put more polyacrylic down in there, it immediately started melting the other stuff that was on there. So even though a lot of the glitter did pour out, it does look to me like this one has more coverage. I could be wrong. I don't know if you can even see a difference here with all the glare, but in real life it looks to me like this one is more glittery than this one. And this one's been sitting now again for about another hour. So I am gonna move on with this one just because I like the amount of glitter that's there, but I don't know, it's up to you whether you want to try to do the double layer or not. But you already know I'm a little bit extra when it comes to things sometimes. So all right, so the next step that we're gonna do is I did a on my Cricut, I did a Santa cam. I cut white vinyl to put on here, and I'm going to apply that onto this guy here. So I think what I'm going to do, let's see if I can, no, that's not going to work. Just a moment. All right, I just needed something to kind of help me balance this up rather than it falling forward like that. It's still, okay, I think that's gonna work. Okay, so I did give this a wipe down with some rubbing alcohol, and this is a plastic ornament, and if you're wondering, it's about 3.5 inches. That came from Michael's on a Christmas clearance. It was a whole container of them that I got. I believe there's like 20 in there of these empty ones. And it was, I want to say it was like 90% off when I got it, of like $20. So this is my first time applying a cut vinyl to a curve, and it's not that dramatic of a curve, but I'm still a little nervous. So what I'm gonna attempt to do is center this N to the middle of the spout, and I'm gonna stick down the middle first. And then I'm just gonna smooth it down from the middle out. And then I'm gonna do the same thing for the other side. Let's take it off of here now. Oops. The S is a little off to the side, but that's okay for my first try. So you just want to make sure that it's adhered. And then start taking it off. So there we have that. And then I'm going to do the cam. Now, if you don't have a Cricut, your options, you still have a lot of options. You could use a paint pen, and if you have great handwriting, just write it on there. You could also use stickers. You could Mod Podge your picture onto there as well. But those are some options that you can do. Now, to the camera lens, this actually screws off. And just looks like that. And I've seen people actually take a hot knife and cut a hole in their ornament and put it down in there. I'm not fixing to do all that. I'm just gonna take this and glue it on here. But before I do, I'm gonna take a Sharpie here and ink out the back of it, because when you put it down on there, you can see the glitter through the lens. So I don't know if you're like a tiny artist, maybe you could like do a tiny scenery in there. So if the kids go up to the camera, that's what they'll see. I probably should have used a paint pen for this. All right, and so I'm gonna use some of this Quick Grip by Beacon strong adhesive. And hot glue to put this on. I would just use hot glue, but I have a kid that's very savage, so he will destroy this thing. So maybe it'll last a little bit longer if I use some of this strong adhesive. Also, as far as the cap goes, I am going to glue that down again, because he's savage and everything's a toy, and he's not really gentle with things. So, but if you have kids or grandkids that aren't savage, then you can most certainly just go with hot glue. So I'm gonna put a couple dabs of hot glue on here as well. And then I'm going to try to center this. Okay, so that's what we have so far. Now, again, we do have to let this sit overnight to dry before you put this cap back on with the prongs, because you don't want it to scratch the glitter off of the sides. So I'm gonna wait to put this on, but I am gonna put it on and I'm gonna secure it with some of this quick grip glue. So I'm gonna let this sit down here overnight, and I'll be back to show you what I do with the rest of it. It's the next day, and I've let this sit overnight to dry. And so what I'm gonna do now is attach the lid back onto the ornament. So I'm gonna be using this quick grip around the upper edge just to keep that in place. So I want to put this down in here and hope that everything's all right and the sides don't get scratched. All right, and you just want to make sure that it's facing the correct direction before everything sets up and dries, and it's seated on there like it needs to be. Okay, and the next thing, I'm not really feeling how you can see where it screws on, where it's supposed to screw on. So I've brought out some of this baker's twine that I had, it's red and white, and I gotten it at my local grocery store last Christmas. And I'm thinking I'm going to go ahead and just go around this area to disguise that a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and trim this down. And I'm going to start on the bottom with a little hot glue here. And I think that looks much better. All right, and so for the hanger, I did have a couple of options out. I was thinking about doing this striped fabric. I want to say I got this at Dollar Tree last Christmas. Or this one that looks kind of like, I don't know, it reminds me of little candies. But I think I'm just going to go ahead and stick with this baker's twine. And I'm just going to make a little hanger here for this. Right, so I'm just did a knot in the end. And I'm going to loop it through here. And I believe this is called a slip knot. And there we have it. All right, so stay tuned to see how this looks. I just love how these turned out, and these are going to be a great addition to our Christmas decorations this year. What theme are you decorating with? Let me know in the comments down below. Thank you to Carrie for hosting this collaboration with me, and thank you to everyone who is participating. Don't forget to check out the playlist linked in the description box below. If you've enjoyed this video, hit the like button and leave me a comment below. If you'd like to see more, subscribe and choose all notifications so you don't miss my next video. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, love, inspire, create. See you next time.